Hello and welcome to the Simply Colorful FiberCast. Happy May Day, everyone. It's May 1st, 2015. My name is Lynn and I'm your host. Thanks for joining me tonight. I hope you have a project because we're going to work on something together for the next 60 minutes. So I'm glad you've joined me. How is everyone? Happy Friday. Today, we're going to jump right into it. I'm going to be working on Dear Jane. So periodically, as you all know, we pull out Dear Jane, and sometime by 2023 maybe, we'll be done with ours. We have the Dear Jane book that has all of the patterns. I also have the software, and as you've seen in past episodes, I keep track when I do each block, and I write down notes, and I keep a little piece of the fabric. So tonight, I thought, since it's spring, we're going to do K-8 Springbook Park. So I have it printed out. I used my software. It's Dear Jane software. It's based on the electronic quilt software. So it's very easy to use once you know how to use electronic quilt. So that's what we're going to do. I also have another one, a backup, if we get through with this quickly. And we're going to talk about the tradition of May Day, because again it is May 1st, and that's fun. I also wanted to share the quilt behind me. This is a first, it's a debut. We have never shown this one on FiberCast. My sister Karen and my mother made that for Bob and me for our wedding many years ago. So I love it, and I hope you do too. What else are we going to do? We're going to take your emails. Send me email. Let me know what you're working on, lmarquidant@gmail.com, or post on the Simply Colorful Facebook page or on Google. And just grab a project and let's get going. So I picked out fabric here that was left over from my camper quilt. I still have a lot of fabric from my camper quilt, as you know. And I thought I would use that and my off-white. I'm just going to reach over here and get that. My off-white. And having learned from KB, I'm going to cut out my pieces first and then cut all of my pieces of fabric pretty much to size so that then I can really get through all of my piecing pretty quickly, if that made sense. Rather than cutting each piece for my paper piece as I go, it just makes it much faster. So again, this is K-8. Spring has sprung here in Massachusetts. Probably down, for those of you down in Australia and New Zealand, fall is coming, right? Okay. And for those of you over in the UK, happy middle of the night, and thanks for joining. Hopefully it's Saturday morning when you're watching this. So let's say K-8. I have to learn my alphabet here. Okay. So this is what it's going to look like when it's done. Down in that lower region. Shouldn't be too hard. It's a lot of straight seams, so it really shouldn't take us that long. So I'm going to place that over there and then literally prepare my light and darks for my paper piecing here. So literally, I know I have this little piece, so that can go right there. And then this piece will go on top of that, if you can see that. Yeah. It just makes it much easier so I know where pieces are going ahead of time. So that will go there, and that will go there. That will go there, that will go there. This will be a long piece. And again, I'm going to try not to be chintzy. If you saw what is around me right now, I have to tell you I have not cleaned up the studio. since the last couple of weeks in doing the camper quilt. So even though you can see yellow and green and white and this little blue, down at my feet there are all sorts of scraps that I do have to clean because it's just, mainly because I'm stepping on good fabric and that's really, really bothering me, especially because I'm wearing my gardening sneakers. And yes, they're my fancy sneakers, but I've decided it's okay if they make me move and get me out there gardening. I am going to sacrifice a nice pair of sneakers. Okay, so I have all of my blue pieces cut out. Just dropped one on the floor. For all of my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, paper, sub-paper pieces. Now I'm going to take my off-white and again, this is not a tutorial, right? FiberCast is just all about us getting together in your studio, but I might as well tell you what I'm doing. So I'm just cutting a very generous white strip that will form the basis of my pieces. And now I'm going to break my rule and I'm just going to start sewing and then cut my white strip here as I need it. And I've got, you know how I'm starting to use all of my thread in the studio? I ran out of Aurifil. I wonder if I have that. Ooh, I'm trying to save the Aurifil bobbins. I don't know why. But instead of getting a new set of Aurifil, I'm just going to try using different threads. So right now I have Coates and Clark, and if I run out of that, I have a Gutermann here. And so it's interesting how the machine works differently when you put a different thread in. This one's a little bit thicker than Aurifil. So again, the first one's the most difficult. Oh, and I'm putting down my stitch length to 1.7. And I'm sewing between 1 and 2. Right before FiberCast started, I filled the bobbin. So that's a good sign. I hadn't even tested it. How fun to hear from Jean, who was out in Pennsylvania picking up her daughter at Bucknell today. She said she was just listening to FiberCast out there this morning and she heard about her hat. So that was fun. How fun is it to be working? And she texted me this morning. So that was fun. I hope, Jean, you're home. And actually, let us know how your derby hat goes. Jean said she's making a derby hat for a friend for a party tomorrow night. My mother was reminding me, speaking of the derby, that the derby, Kentucky Derby, is always the first weekend in May, which I'd never put 2 and 2 together. And apparently, she and I have gone out to EMC World in past years at this very same time. And she reminded me of us being out there. It was either last year or the year before. I can't remember whether my husband came out that year or she did. Anyway, we wanted to get back to the hotel at 5 to watch the Derby, only to realize that we forgot about the time change and it had been run 3 hours ago. So that was kind of funny. She was reminding me of that. But tomorrow, we head to San Diego together. So that's going to be fun. Isn't that crisp and clean? So fun. So I've done 1, 2, 3. Now there's just one more white piece on this one. And then we can put this aside. We should be able to get through 2 Dear Jane blocks tonight, I think. How are your Dear Janes coming? Oh, speaking of which, so please write me, send me pictures of your Dear Jane if you're working on them. Sue Norton, out in the Midwest, I want you to know that I sent you some walnut shells for your pincushion. They're on their way. They should get there Monday. And thank you for relieving me of a pile of them. I don't know if we told everyone last. You can get walnut shells in bulk from pet stores for reptile cages. And Xylo, Z-I-L-L-O, is the manufacturer that I bought a big bag from. And so Sue, rather than going out and buying another big bag, I've just sent her some for her pincushion. And they're good quality. They don't smell like lavender, like some of the ones you might get in the quilt shop, but like I've showed you in past FiberCasts, they're inside this, and I love it. It's the best pincushion I've ever had. It's just the right kind of puffiness. Okay, so there's one piece. It's coming together. See this one big piece in the middle? I think I'm going to sew around it and then cut out the edge. And this I can up. If I had printed this out on wax freezer paper, I wouldn't have to do this. I could have just ironed it on, but I didn't, so. Have I explained well what I'm doing? So this is one piece. There's no paper piecing involved on this one. But in order for me, so it's one piece. But because I don't have any glue or it's not made out of freezer paper, I can't iron it on. I've just sewn it around, and now I'm going to cut off and leave the seam allowance. And then this will provide just a perfect size for right down the middle of the block. Kind of a different way of doing it. You waste a lot of fabric, but I like it because I don't have to get slowed down in measuring it. So there's my middle piece. Okay, so now we have 2 pieces. And we're just going to keep going here. So I have a nephew, speaking of the South and the Kentucky Derby, I have a nephew who graduated. Remember I made that Clemson quilt last year? He graduated from Clemson last year. His girlfriend's graduating from Clemson this year, so he's heading down for graduation this weekend. So Tim, if by any chance you're out there watching, have a good time. What is the likelihood that a 22-year-old man is watching FiberCast? Not likely. I had all the cousins. There are 11 cousins on that side of the family, on Bob's side. And I've had them up here before FiberCast, and they're quite cute. So they range probably from that 22, 23 down to about 13 or 14 now. And they told me, Aunt Lynn, you're not going to have many followers if you do this on a Friday night. Maybe Sunday afternoon, but not a Friday night. Got a kick out of that. I said, well, once you get to be my age, there'll be many people sewing on a Friday night. Anyway, let me finish this one and we'll see who's out there. I'm still loving this iron, everyone. I should put that on my website so you can buy it through Amazon. People have asked me how that works on my website when you buy things through Amazon, and it's really, there's no magic to it. Think of my website as like a referral site. So if you go to my site and say I've posted this, then you click on it and you buy it. Because I sent you to Amazon, they will pay me a penny or two. That's how it works. And then they have different sort of promotions like Mother's Day. If they create an ad and if I put it on my website and you click on it and go see what Mother's Day specials there are on Amazon, again, they'll pay me half a penny. So that's all it is. And frankly, it is more just a time savings. So if we talk about something here like the Fitbit or the iron, I'm just putting it on my site just to save you time if you were interested in following up. And yes, it's kind of it's like a game for me to see how this whole thing works. There's a similar program for eBay, believe it or not. So, like I'm thinking I may want to put all of the vintage machines that we see on eBay. That would be fun to look at. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 pieces. Who's out there? Let's check this. I must have turned my phone off, the ringer. Hey! Because I haven't been hearing the ding. Joyce is out there. Hi, Joyce. Oh, that is wonderful. She said she saw this bird feeder and thought of you. I love it. What is it made of? Joyce, I love that. Look at that. It's a camper. And it looks almost like it's made out of, that looks handmade. That is well crafted. Thank you. Add that to the list. I'd like to make one of those. But where the birds go inside. You know what we have to do, though? We need to put some sort of a carport out there so they can feed. That is great. Ooh, Heidi. Welcome, Heidi. Welcome, James. Welcome, Diane. Welcome, Dean. Ah, Susan says, thanks, Lynn. No need to reimburse me for postage. No, we're all set. Enjoy. Just show us the picture of what you make with your walnut shells. And I'm sorry I didn't get to you sooner. I got home. I came home a day early. I was supposed to come home from Alexandria on Thursday. I came home Wednesday. And I wasn't too far away from the Baltimore riots, believe it or not. That was some scary stuff. Okay, Susan also, she sent some Dear Jane. She said some more blocks I made. We'll be watching tonight. Thanks again for sending me some crushed walnut shells. My pleasure. I'm glad to get them. Literally, I meant to bring the bag over. The bag goes like this. I can't wait to get my new pin cushion in use. This weekend, Sue says, I'll be working on another quilt I'm making for a friend from college. Should have some test blocks for you to see next week. Oh, we'll look forward to that. She says, takes care and thanks again. Oh, and she sends B13 4-corner press. Oh, I love your fabrics. Look at that. Those really look like Civil War fabrics, don't they? From the time that Dear Jane was made. Oh, I love those. I'm downloading another image because, of course, Sue only can't only do one. She did the B6 Wild Goose Chase. We did that a few weeks ago, didn't we? Oh, I love that. That's good contrast. Talk about pieces. How many pieces does that have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 42 pieces in a 4.5 inch by 4.5 inch package. I discovered on the plane the jigsaw puzzle. You know, the game that you can play on your iPad? And I'm sure many of you have played it. Well, I discovered, I've always been playing with like 150 some odd pieces. Well, I discovered I could put the piece number down to over 1,000. I decided not to do it, but I made myself laugh that you could actually do that. And the best part is it's called Jigsaw 1000. I'm sure there are many of them out there. But this one, I could take some of my own photos and turn them into a puzzle, so that was really fun. I actually did a picture of my mother and her sister and Reed, Ben's daughter, skating this winter, I think before all the snow came. The ponds were crystal clear. Oh, and you know what? I forgot to reduce my stitch size. So let's do that. There we go. Who went to Paducah? I saw pictures of it. It sure looked fun. It's funny, I find myself not really needing to buy fabric, but then what's happening is my fabric now is starting to look aged. Which is just what they want us to think. It's like your furniture. If you upholster it. I kind of scared myself, though. I was watching HGTV, one of those home do-it-yourself networks, and they were showing a house that it had a 1980s addition on it, and it was lovely. I thought, and then they said, "Oh, it looks just so old in 1980s. We have to redo it." Now I'm stuck in the 80s. Okay, so this is coming along. This is working well, having this piece here of my whites that I can just cut. So had we had the marathon? I think we had the marathon since we've seen each other last. Oh, so let me tell you about Alexandria, Virginia. Went down there Sunday morning, flew into Reagan International Airport, and I never realized how close the Capitol building, the monument is, the Pentagon is to that airport, and it was a nice day. And so when we pulled in, I got a view of Washington, D.C. that I'd never seen before, and I loved it. Great to see. And then, stayed over in Alexandria, and at the Hilton at Mark Center, we had a really good party at Clyde's down the street, which is, I guess, a pretty well-known seafood place. And that party, believe it or not, was karaoke, and it went until midnight. and I got through it. And the attendees had a good time. In fact, such a good time that by Tuesday, my boss had decided she wants to do a Sunday night party like that every 6 months. Yay! So we'll see how that goes. But you know, it makes sense. These the people that we meet with at these conferences, they're up on stage all the time, and they loved singing for each other. Okay. I'm getting there. So anyway, we had Sunday festivities, we had parties every night, and then during the day we had sessions all in at Mark Center at the Hilton. But then for the evenings we would go to dinner in Old Town Alexandria, which is lovely. It's right on the Potomac, and it's very stately. We went by, we went by the George Washington Masons. I don't know if it's called a temple or a big building. It's a lovely area down there. Okay. Getting there. One more piece to make, then we'll put it all together. Okay. Go. I'm curious, how many of you out there have ever made a doll? So there's one more. It seems to be something that I keep coming back to. I think I'm still interested in making another doll. And I might do it on Friday nights, even though it's not really fiber, but okay. There we go. Set the seam, pop it over, go to the next one. Anyone going to watch the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight? I hear it's only $100 to have it beamed in through cable. My buddy there, out on the West Coast, Adam Carolla, not really my buddy, I listen to him. He's the one who has the Adam Carolla show and has that show called CarCast, and I've joked I'm going to contact him about FiberCast. Well, he also, before he got his break in comedy, he was a trainer for boxers. So he's all over this Pacquiao fight, and in fact, I think he's going to be there with Jimmy Fallon. And so I've downloaded all of his podcasts for our trip tomorrow. When we fly across the country, I will be listening to Adam talk about his preparation for the fight. In fact, he had Manny Pacquiao in his studio, and he held the bags. No, how did it go? Manny Pacquiao held the bags for Adam, and Adam punched them and got ready. Adam's wife is doing a show called For Crying Out Loud, and it's hilarious. Well, and it's good. I wouldn't say it's hilarious, but I find it very entertaining. She's on it with a friend, and they talk about parenting, and it's very engaging. It's called For Crying Out Loud. Oh, I'm being too frugal here. Oh, and you know what? I had the wrong color. That's why. I ran out of my white. Okay. Oh, and after we finish this, we'll read a little bit about May Day. I cannot remember if we did that last year at this time. My mother brought us a May Day basket. It was a 6-pack of kale plants. My husband was thrilled. We've already put them in the ground, so Bridget, if you're out there listening, if you need some kale, we'll have kale before the garden up the street has some. Okay. I really must have turned my phone off. So we haven't heard a ding. Okay, one more. Okay. All right, so we have all of the pieces. Don't know quite how they're all going to fit together, but we have them here. Let's clear off the table. And like a puzzle, let's see. Pretty funny, you guys. Guess it's time to pull out the picture. Okay, can you see it? Oh, it's hard to see, isn't it? So if you look at that, it's just a bunch of crosses. And hang on. Okay, I think I did one half. All right, so now if we mirror the other, okay, you see that? That's how we have to put it together. Okay, good. So let's see who else is out here. Hey, KB. Hi, KB. KB says, from Pennsylvania, hi, everyone. She says, tonight I'm working on a seat cover for T.G. Bob's office chair, which is falling apart. I wonder how he'll feel about the construction worker fabric. Are you really making it out of that? That's funny. Have a great trip, she says. Thank you, we will. We wish you were coming with us. The construction fabric that she's talking about, you know, the construction workers that are half clothed? I think that's what you're talking about, right? That's funny. Let us know. Who's out there? Oh, about the doll, Maureen. Hi. She says, I would love to see you do another doll. As you can see, this is how far I got on mine. It's from a book called Doll Fashionistas. Oh, Maureen, awesome. I want to show this to people. So if you'd be into this, I'm definitely going to do this then. Now, this is going to look funny, but this is a doll in process. Can you see that? And the sky's the limit. It's amazing when you put fabric and wire and stuffing together, the forms you can make. And then they have paper mache clay that doesn't have to be kiln dried or anything, that is very fine, so it's not like the paper mache of old where you took strips of paper and you would soak it in your flour and water. This is really fine paper mache clay that you can sand, you can carve it when it's done. All right, Maureen, we're going to do that. Hey, Sandra, she says hi. Hi, Sandra. Happy May Day. Happy May Day. She says, I cut out my K-8 and am anxious to see how you put it together. I have 5 pieces, but not sure where they go. It's tricky. But you know what the trick is? So I'm going to pull it up right now. Okay. Put this in your middle, so you're one long strip. Then take your 2 biggest blocks and put them on the bottom. So there's one. And then you're literally going to put the other big block on the other side. And then put the smaller blocks at the top. So I'll sew it all together right now so that we see how that goes. Sandra also says, She made her first preemie baby booties yesterday, so she hasn't been doing Dear Jane. Have a great trip and be safe. Sandra in warm Mississippi tonight. Aw. We will, thank you. And I bet preemie booties are tiny. But they go with your hats. I loved seeing your hats. I think at last count I saw you had 10. It's great. Okay, so there's one half. And I'm just going to finger press it open for now. Sandra, that's so funny. I was very challenged when I looked at these 5 pieces together. But it helped when I realized the 2 big pieces had to go down at the bottom and the 2 smaller pieces at the top. Okay, so there. Now I'm going to put the middle on it. I'm even going to use a pin or 2. Actually, have you ever done this where you put the pin through one side at the corner and then the pin through the other side at the corner? It helps when you're aligning it. I'll do the same at the other end. It's probably not necessary, completely necessary, but okay. Okay, almost done with this baby. Okay, now we'll put the other half on. Same thing, just so I know for sure. Maureen, I'm going to look for that book that you mentioned. I have discovered Pinterest again. Anyone out there? Karen, my sister, KB, told me about it years ago. She said, I think you're going to like it. It's visual. You get to organize and categorize pictures and save them. And oh, is she right? There are a lot of creative people in the world. So I think I'm fine. Well, no, I'm not completely over my camper thing. But, of course, now KB started to pin summer houses. And those look really fun. A nice little summer house out in the back. Of course, I'd build it, and then I'd probably go use it twice. Although I did get Bob to agree, we're going to have a gardening date after my travels in mid-May, and we're going to garden out back, and we have lawn chairs that we're going to camp on. It'll be all of 100 feet from the bathroom, but we'll be camping out there. So I'll keep you posted on that. I'm doing this again because I veered off the line. So now I'm going back about just literally a thread's width closer to the line. Yay! And there we have a Dear Jane block, K-8. I thought for a minute there it wasn't straight, but it's straight. Okay. So I'm not going to peel the paper off right now because I think hopefully we have time to do another. I am going to make a note though here. So today's date is May 1st, 5/1/15. Happy May Day. Constructed on FiberCast. And let's see, who can we say is out there? Oh, Karen. Oh, good. Karen found us. Karen out in San Diego. She says, my YouTube keeps telling me to stand by. I'll sit by and wait while here at work. That still cracks me up. Hope the problem gets fixed soon. I watched the last couple episodes one night. Missing you tonight. Aw, thank you, KK. KK in San Diego. And she says, I found you. Well, I'm glad. I wonder if it was on a delay. Great. Has your purple pineapple quilt been finished? Oh, Sandra sent us a picture of the booties. Oh, those are adorable. It's next to the hat, right? I don't know if you can see that. Oh, those are good. We have a friend from high school whose daughter just had a preemie down in the Florida area. Hey, Kathy in Carolina, or Carolina Chain. Okay. Oh, she says, hi, Lynn. So nice to see you again. Hi, Kathy Hopkins. Just finished my Carolina Chain quilt, and I did all the machine quilting on my domestic. That's great. Not the greatest if you look close enough. Who does? But a girl has to learn sometime. It's a beautiful evening here in Southern Ontario. Thanks for all you do. Hey, well, thank you for letting us know. Did you post a picture of it online? Hi, Patty in Texas. Remember the blue bonnets from last week? Those were beautiful. Finally, the last border is on. Oh, today, piece the back. I hope to assemble it soon after a trip to Home Depot for 2 1x4x10 straight boards to roll the back and batting on, top and batting on. I'll send you the link to the sandwich procedure. I'm on the way to a family dinner. Catch you after. Have a great show. Oh, Patty, thank you for sharing this. So over the last couple of weeks, you've heard Patty talking about finishing UFOs, and she was making a bow tie quilt that is wonderful. Look at that, and it looks huge. You see that? Oh, and it's all cottons. Here, I blew it up. Isn't that fun? Oh, thank you for sending that. And I love how you have them going different ways. Oh, it has such movement. And do send us that note about how you're going to use 2x4s, two 1x4 10 straight boards to roll the top and backing on. And are you going to use your domestic machine to quilt it? That is great. I hope you had a good dinner. Maureen says, I'm addicted to Pinterest. See? She says, I pin stuff I want to buy. It helps me remember. That's a good idea. It really is fun. Who else is out there? Beatrice, welcome. Annie, welcome. Valentina, welcome. So fun. Do you guys know we have over 900 people who have subscribed to this YouTube? Thank you for doing that. It's so fun. Okay, let's do another Dear Jane, or at least get started on one. Oh, but first, let's finish this post. So, constructed on FiberCast. Patty finished her bow tie front. Sandra made preemie booties. Maureen in PA convinced me, wink wink, to make another doll. It's beautiful in Ontario. Where Kathy is. Kathy, I apologize, I forgot your name. Kathy is, and she just finished her Carolina chain. And I could go on, but I think it's time to get started on another one. And we will glue this right down so that we have a record of which kind of fabric we used on this one. So the next one I want to make is D7. It's called D7 Meeting Place, and we should be able to at least cut it out. Because remember what we say about FiberCast. It's amazing what we can get done in 60 minutes. And we just plow through no matter what we're working on. Together, we can get things done. And this one should be even easier, and it's got the same principle, meaning it's got a center line, and then it has two pieces on each side. And let's pick out a different color. These are some fabrics Karen sent to me. Maybe? Ooh, that's a fun one. These are big enough pieces, so I think that would be fun. Isn't that pretty? This was a jelly roll. Okay. Did you see I ended up with 2 pairs of scissors? Oh, here's another pair. Really, there's a problem here. Okay, 1, 2. This will go here. Oh, we were going to read about May Day. Let's do that after I finish this. Here's that. And then we'll do these two pieces. Literally, this will go even faster than the other one. So there and there. All right. Let's put that away. Give this a good... It's going to be pretty. Okay. May Day. Let's close out this FiberCast talking about May Day. May Day tradition. Okay, CNN has posted fun facts for May Day. Maybe that'll be a good one. And as you know, we never know where these will lead us. I think the last time I read off of this, I said sheep were the smartest animals in the barnyard. And I was quickly corrected, so who knows? But CNN should have some validity checking. May Day is referred to as International Workers' Day in many countries, celebrated on the first day of May. It's a holiday celebrating spring and/or working people. It's also often used as a day of civil protest. Oy. The origins of May Day go back to the Druids' tree worship or to the spring festivals of ancient Egypt and India. In medieval England, May Day celebrations centered on the maypole, which is the pole made from a tree decorated with flowers and streamers, which is held by dancers circling the pole. I remember doing that as a kid. That was fun. But let's talk about let's look up the May Day basket. That's what I'm more interested in, is the flowers. May Day basket. History. I'm sorry, I should have looked this up ahead of time. It has a long history stemming from the European pagan festival. You can surprise your neighbor with a special May Day basket. Here we go. Tumble Home Learning. May Day is celebrated in many places around the world. Traditions and stories surrounding May Day vary from place to place. There's one thing similar in most celebrations, the use of flowers. That's what I like. Check out this May Day basket. You hang on the door. Made of paper, craft paper. One of the most popular known May Day traditions is to hang a basket full of spring flowers or other small gifts on a neighbor's doorknob. The trick is you don't want the neighbor to see you. If you get caught, you're supposed to get a kiss. A popular activity on May Day is to decorate a pole with brightly colored ribbon and paper streamers. Some also add flowers and balloons. The pole is carried to the parade and then placed in the ground at a designated area. In London, May Day is celebrated with children going from house to house. So maybe Sharon out there, you can confirm that. They bring flowers and get pennies in return. The pennies are then thrown into a wishing well, and the pennies are donated to charity. In France, cows play an important role in May Day. The cows are led in parades with many flowers attached to their tails, and the people watching the parade try to touch the cows. It is believed to be good luck. On May 1st, people in Hawaii celebrate their own version of May Day. They call it Lay Day. People give Hawaiian leis to each other. They put them around each other's necks and sometimes give a traditional kiss. Oh, I never knew that. Well, may this be a virtual May Day basket to you. I want to give you flowers. I hope that you also give flowers to each other. Find flowers this weekend. Look behind me on my quilt. There are flowers there. Spring is here. Get out there and enjoy it. Thank you for joining FiberCast. We will be back here next Friday night at 8 p.m. with stories about the San Diego Zoo. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining.